Oh, it's sick. It's wild. This is really laid back. This build can do runs in under a minute, for sure. Like, granted, you have to be like trying to do it, like playing really, you know, sweaty per se. But and not every single run, but a lot of, like, I would say most of my runs are under a minute and a half, casually, right? Like just talking with you guys, chilling, not even going super crazy. And most of my runs are probably under a minute and a half. And a lot of people's like good times are a minute and a half, you know what I mean? And I'm like averaging that casually. Fighting Duriel. Like tormented Duriel? What the fuck are all the mobs? Yeah, that's a minute and 10 seconds. This ain't even a good run, but it's still gonna be an under like a minute and 15 seconds. That was like a minute and what? I guess I didn't look at the timer, but that was well under a minute and a half. Casual, super casual, laid back. Nothing to it. But so keep in mind, I'll make a build guide real quick because a lot of people keep asking for it. So this is definitely different than, like I said, this isn't grandfather. You can see I'm using a pole arm. I'm not using a grandfather. Keep in mind, this isn't like, I'm not taking credit for this by any means. I did not come up with this. This isn't like my build, you know, not even close. I literally, I started Necromancer in the season, as you guys know, right? Got sacrificed, gutted. So I sacrificed it, made a rogue and did, you know, like a flavor of pen shot after I saw a pen shot was doable on a rogue. My first time playing rogue, I shifted in that and did my 150 solo on that. And then I ran out of mats and all that stuff. So I had to do like dungeon. I had to do a bunch of stuff no matter what. So chat's like, yeah, get on a barb. We'll help you make one. And this is essentially what chat helped me build. And it's from literally leveling, power leveling it, gearing it, the whole, literally all of it. They came up with, like I said, use a pole arm over grandfather, all this stuff. I did, like I said, I don't know. Edgemaster is probably something most people are probably using elements over Edgemaster, and I was trying between the two, and honestly, Edgemaster feels good, so I just keep it there. But you could do either way. But anyway, so I'll give you guys a quick rundown of this variant of Whirlwind. Keep in mind, like I said, this is very easy to do, faster than a minute and a half runs. I'm casually doing like a minute. I would say averaging, like, I don't know, what was that last run? That was like an average run. Laid back, talking to you guys, not super sweating. If I do sweat, I could definitely do, and obviously granted, depending on the dungeon, you can't do it every single run, but this build, no question, could do runs in under a minute, for sure. And it could be even stronger than this even. Like I said, my guide is technically better than what my current version is, because a lot of stuff I'd rather have triple crit, and it's good enough. So like I said, and it's not like a main or anything, and so I just leave it as is. I might start reworking some stuff because I'm starting to get mats up again and whatever, but we'll see. And maybe we'll try to see how fast I can actually do a run, like just for the fun of it, I guess, at some point. I don't know. But we only have like a week left till season 5 anyway. But anyways, I don't even know if anybody's going to want a guide like this since it's so late in the season, but who knows? Maybe it'll relate into the next season. I don't know. But either way, yeah, just so Shaco tripled CDR. That's good. I think I only have 2 pieces that are triple rolled. And again, in the guide, like almost all of my pieces, I'd rather have triple rolled. But I just took, you know, I got basically, I get everything double hit and then send it to rank 12. So I'll keep re-rolling. You'll see most of my gear is at least gold or yellow. And that's because, like I said, I always re-roll my gear to rank 8 and get the double hit on whatever it is I'm trying to triple hit, right? And then for this, I just sent everything to rank 12, and this is where everything kind of landed. So luckily I got the triple CDR there. This got the double max resist, and then damage reduction was the 12th hit. Again, crit chance, I got that double hit, and then the third roll, crit strike, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? But so Shaco, obviously there's nothing to say there. Tyrio's nothing to say there in terms of aspects. On the gloves, it's pretty cookie cutter in the sense of it's relentless berserkers. Most Whirlwind builds are going to be similar to this in terms of aspects. The main difference, like I said, is the pole arm, really. But anyway, so the relentless berserkers, and then we got Iron Warrior on the legs, and I got triple resist, all resist, GA resist. And the reason I did that is you'll see I'm actually capped. So my resistances are fully capped with a double hit on there. Honestly, I might even be able to get a triple all resist and it would still be capped. I'm not sure. It'd be really close. But I have all resist gems, and then I have a triple hit all resist on my pants, GA. And that's how I'm able to get easy cap. That mixed with the poison, the elixir anti-venom. Because in this build you use the momentum for the speed, and then I just throw on the anti-venom for a little bit extra health. And it just makes it, like I said, super easy, laid back. You know, you have to really not be paying attention fully to die. Once you're fully like this, like all rank 12 gear, don't get me wrong. As you're getting up to this point, you'll die. You can die here and there, especially with the pole arm because you don't have grandpapa. But once you're maxed out like this, you got your max resist, you got your max armor, you know, you're over 30k life. You're chilling. But I'll show you guys my stats too real quick, actually, since I got this open. Max resist, I'm at 2200 crit strike damage. I'm at 86% crit chance. And keep in mind, I could get this quite a bit higher if I had, again, everything triple rolled. So the build has a lot more yet than it even had. Like, the potential is still more than it even is. But again, my stuff is good enough. I got everything double rolled the way I wanted it, and then whatever I got for my third roll is what it is. But 86 crit chance, 2200 crit strike damage, and almost 1200 vuln damage. And I'm basically doubling my crit chance, or my crit strike damage from the vuln. But you do want a lot of vuln. Like this, again, I don't know. I see a lot of other builds. It's like way more crit strike damage and a lot less vuln damage. I don't know. This seems to be the way, especially with a pole arm. So yeah, you basically just try to double your crit strike damage from your vuln, but keep it even like that. 22 and 11 would be solid, right? Anywhere in there, give or take, you know. Basically, I would say your baseline for these three things right here, your crit chance, you definitely want 80% or higher. And the more, the better, right? Your crit strike damage, I'd say you want at least 2000, and your vulnerable damage, you want at least 1000. Right? Those are like your baselines. Anything beyond that is just added extra juice. And then for my movement speed, I'm at 192.2. But that's before any buffs per se, before momentum, all that. So I'm not sure if I'm actually quite capped when I'm whirlwinding, because I think right when you whirlwind it kind of reduces a little bit. So you're trying to offset that. I haven't even really looked at that. Like, again, I just kind of threw it on. It's good enough. I'm doing runs in less than a minute and a half, well under a minute and a half. Potentially can do, in less than a minute per se. So things just feel really good. And again, can it be even better? But yeah, so back to the gear. Like I said, Iron Warrior on there. Of course, Ghost Walker on here. You can see I got the double war cry, and then I got an extra hit on the GA movement speed. Fine with me. Makes me a little bit quicker. Weapon, I got the double hit on crit strike damage, and then one on vuln. And the reason I don't need chance for Dust Devil is because I have that on both weapons. So you can see I have one hit here to get it to 56, and then I have one hit because it was a lower roll. And I think, honestly, without that one hit, keep in mind, if you get better rolls on your gear than me, you wouldn't even need a hit, per se, a masterwork hit on that, because you can see this one is at 53%, and they can get all the way to 65. So realistically, it's a good chance you won't even have to waste a masterwork. You won't have to waste a masterwork on the chance for Dust Devils in this version, because when you add them together, like I said, you got them on both weapons. You just want to be over 100%. But then, like I said, I have 2 hits on crit strike damage here, vuln here. Then on this weapon, the same thing. I have the crit strike damage. And if I didn't need the Dust Devil, I would either triple crit or vuln would be, the next best thing. And then here you can see I got double vuln and then actually a triple vuln. That's just where it landed. It was good enough for me. And these have the Dust Devil size. So my little weapons have Dust Devil size on them. And so you can see I'm getting 39 there, 34 there. And then on my my pole arm, I actually have the fierce winds, which gives me another 40%, right? So if you add that together, I'm over 100% on the size, and you add these two weapons together, and I'm over 100% chance to cast them twice. So those are kind of, you know, important in the sense of, I think most people, from what I was told from chat, like you want your dust level size to be at least 80%. Mine's 100. But that's just because, like I said, the way I have it laid out. And again, anybody that's been watching the stream, a lot of people have been asking, what is this version of it? Hence why I'm kind of just doing this, even though it's late into the season. But yeah, of course, the aspect is Berserk Ripping on the mace. Then again, I have Edge Mastery. You could use elements if you'd rather use that, or whatever, you know, whatever you feel like using. Devilish on the other one, on the one-hander. And then, like I said, the Fierce Winds on the pole arm to get the Dust Devil size increase, and more, you know, Dust Devils. Bold Chieftain on the ring, and again the double crit. Ideally, a triple crit there would be insane. Again, I had a double crit there before I sent it. Triple crit would be ideal. The more crit chance you can get, the better. With the build, as long as you're at that like 2,000 crit damage, 1,000 vuln damage minimums, right? And then cut to the bone. Of course, if that was triple roll, that'd be better, and even better than cut to the bone. This is just what I had. This is what, you know, I made work. Heavy-handed would technically be better than cut to the bone, but cut to the bone is very close. So, and then we got Dust Devils on the amulet, of course. And so yeah, aspect-wise, gear-wise, that's what it is. And I hopefully you saw it, like max life, vulnerable damage, strength, max life, vulnerable damage, strength. And then you see the kicker for me is, I should point this out. So you can see, like on this weapon, right? I have GA strength, GA vulnerable damage. You don't necessarily need the GA. This is just what I have. The important thing is I have strength, max life, vulnerable on one of my two hands. And then if you look at this one, I have strength, max life, crit strike damage on this one. Okay. So that's important in the sense of, and then even on my weapons, you'll see one of my weapons is GA vulnerable and the other one is GA crit strike damage, right? And what I do there is when I have that, I flip it. So I have crit strike damage as the implicit. Then I tried to temper vulnerable damage, right? This one, I did vulnerable damage as well on the one-hander. But on here, I did crit strike damage temper. And then because I had crit strike damage here, I did the vulnerable. So like I said, I flopped in most places except for here. This one I did double vuln because I was already, again, I was at where I needed to be to hit my 2K, and I wanted to make sure I hit the 1K. So again, the most important part, however you want it, you don't have to have this exact, but I'm just saying, keep an open mind in the sense of like, you don't need everything to have a vuln on a specific spot. You can, the good thing is you can temper and offset and make things work. That's what I did with tempers and masterworking, and that's how you're able to achieve, just try to get, again, 2,000 minimum crit strike damage and 1,000 minimum vuln damage, and again 80% minimum crit strike chance. Those are again the baselines of when you're starting to get really juiced, super powerful. And then gems, of course, you have emeralds or the dex, which gives you more crit chance because you don't need the life. And then you have vuln damage, you know, the sapphires in the weapons. And again, I use all resist for my jewelry in combination with the triple crit all resist pants to make sure I'm fully maxed out for all of my resists. Makes a big difference. Super tanky. And then skill tree, this is just what it is for now. So I have lunging strike just to get, you know, doesn't really matter. It's just to put something to get down, whatever. Whirlwind into enhanced. And then down here you have 3 imposing presence, 3 martial, of course, strategic rallying cry, tactical iron skin, tactical challenging shout, power war cry, 3 into booming. I have 3 into swiftness, again for the speed, 3 aggressive resistance, 3 slaying, 3 pit fighter, fighter's rupture, and I'll explain that in a second here. I do have 3 into cut to the bone, of course, and then 3 into counter offensive, 3 heavy handed, 3 wallop, and of course gushing wounds. That's the bread and butter. So when it comes to Rupture, this is another variant that I don't know how common it is, but a pro tip for Rupture is this definitely makes your speed time significantly faster for the boss. This is purely for the boss kill only. You don't need to do anything else though. Once you're fully, you know, geared and ripping, you don't need gear as good as what mine is even. You just have to have the tempers right and the obviously the aspects right. Tempers right though, and have fairly good master working, and you're gonna be super strong. But Rupture is purely for the boss kill, and I know a lot of people, even when I first started it, it felt really clunky. I was like, oh, this don't feel good. But the more I did it and the more I realized it's actually, once you understand it, it actually feels really smooth and super nice for the boss kills. So basically you watch the bar of the boss and you can see the bleed, right? The damage over time, the bar fades out. Before that bar gets fully faded, you want to cast it. Cause if you see that there's like a 2 second, not even 2 second, but it feels like 2 second when you're actually doing it. There's like a 2 second delay in the actual, when it actually like hits. So the key to using Rupture correctly or like smoothly, making it feel way smoother, is don't wait till the bar is like actually fully like damage over, like, you know, fully faded when it's full bleed and then Rupture. Try to predict it and find the sweet spot of like, okay, you know, let's say, what could I use here for the bar? So like, let's say this is the bar, right? This little rug. So let's say the bleed, you know, you do your damage, then your bleed hits in, and your bleed hits in when your bleed is like right here, right? Like the full, like it's all blurred out. Like there'll be health here, but it's all blurred. And then there's a little tiny bit left of like health that isn't technically a bleed yet. Once it gets there, obviously it's gonna, you know, within a couple seconds, it's gonna cap out, and then it'll be full bleed until it dies. We'll try to, like I said, time it where once it gets about right here, then you Rupture, because then by the time the Rupture animation hits, it'll hit exactly at the time that your bleed, you know, basically is fully depleting it, and it finishes the boss off immediately, and it saves you, you know, 4 or 5 seconds on most bosses once you get that right. So again, hopefully that makes sense, but when you actually go play it and try to like understand it, it might make more sense. But if you understand what I'm saying, when you do it, you'll see what I'm saying. It makes it way smoother, way faster. And really that's all it's for. Like I say, you kill everything else so fast. You're just spinning by everything. Make sure obviously you have everything bled as you go by. Try to keep that up. And then like I said, Rupture is purely for that boss kill. It's like a final blow, death blow, whatever you want to call it. But it does help. It makes it feel better, faster. Definitely saves you a few seconds on the end. This is like min-maxing though type build. Like I said, this is like if you want to do runs in under a minute, Rupture definitely helps give you that, you know, 4 or 5 second extra window to make that possible. Because a lot of times that's what it'll boil down to. When it comes to the minute runs, you know, 10 seconds don't take very long, you know, 5-10 seconds. So Rupture, again, it actually, when it comes to speed running, it helps quite a bit more than you think. Being able to finish that boss way faster. But yeah, so aside from that, like I said, skill tree, of course, for the expertise, use 2-hand axe, and skills, like I said, essentially the same as most other, I believe, Warcry, rallying, challenging, Iron Skin. I like Iron Skin. Some people don't even use Iron Skin. I like it though, personally. Some people use like Call of the Ancients or whatever, and again, that's the beauty of the game. You can add your own flavor, do whatever you want. But Iron Skin kind of helps me keep up my materials a little bit more. It just makes things more comfortable, especially because I am not running Grandpapa. It just makes it more lazy, and I'm all about being lazy but fast, right, and efficient. So I keep Iron Skin for now. But Rupture definitely is a big play in terms of, I didn't start out that way, but moved into that because, again, a lot of people in chat are like, check out Rupture, do Rupture, it'll help make it faster. And it definitely, I 100% agree with it. So, but yeah, gear aspect, I meant for this to be quick, but I just like to explain things, right? If I have something that I learned that helped me make it a little bit smoother, a little bit better, I want to share that with you guys. So bear with me there. You'll see my Paragon is actually the same as Rob's. I started off with Rob's build, and then, like I said, chat kind of helped me adapt into this variant. And I started, you'll see in the build guide, I actually moved this around. It's essentially the same but I moved it in my layout because I was planning on redoing things and like tuning it myself. You know, so I reworked it and made the layout easier for me because I have a layout that I like to have where everything is like kind of by each other. It just helps me visualize when I try to come up and move things around and tune. It just makes it easier for me. So you'll see in the actual my build guide, it's gonna look different. The layout's gonna look different, but it's essentially the same right now because honestly, it's so late in the season and it's so good already. Like Rob's Paragon, honestly, it's good. I think I always like to tune my own and make my own essentially, but honestly, this might be the first time I don't, just because it's good enough for what I'm doing. It's so late in the season. I don't know if there's really a point. So again, when you see, if you're watching the video, you go into the guide, you'll see it again, just the layout's different, but essentially it's the exact same thing for now. I might change it. And if I do, obviously I'll update it. If I do end up, you know, reworking it, cause I originally I was going to, but we'll see. But anyway, so start off with exploit and you get 39 points into that just to get a little extra vuln damage. And then you have ire on the flawless technique board over into the carnage board with might. And then into, you got a fully 49 of 25 wrath. And that's again for the crit strike damage. Get as much of that as you can to get that 2k 1k ratio. And that's on the bone breaker board. Over into decimator board with Marshall. And then I go up here and grab this first. And this is disembowel. I can't remember, what is it, Twister? Twister is not working correctly, so that's why it's recommended to use disembowel. And so you just throw that up there, and then that's on the blood rage board, of course, and then over into hemorrhage for the last. But again, so this layout is actually, I think it's still exactly pretty close, if not exact, to what Rob's was, because again, I just started out Rob, the barb always has good source of information. I started there, and when I made it just to throw something together, and had plans to rework it, but honestly, I probably won't, because this board seems very solid, seems very good. So he did a really good job on that. And again, the actual build, like this, the variant with the pole arm, the rupture, all that again, I'm not taking credit for any of this type of build. I'm just sharing what I've learned, what people shared with me. This is all built from people in my chat, essentially different sources, people coming in, helping tune the build, make it what it is, sources of information all over the place. So a combination from Rob to a lot of people in the chat that are playing Barb, and obviously just absolute units. And if you've been watching, like I said, a lot of people have been asking for it. What is this Whirlwind version? Again, this is the polearm variant, I guess. I don't really even have a name for it because it's not really my build. It's just a polearm variant that essentially gives you more damage. You give a little bit of life and whatever, but you definitely gain more damage. And for speed 101s, if you have the max resist like I do and stuff, like I said, I never, and especially with iron skin, I never feel like I'm in trouble per se, so hopefully that helps y'all though. Like I said, anybody want, I don't know, it's only a week left before season 5, but who knows, maybe somebody wants to change it up on their barb or whatever. Check it out. Hopefully it helps. Good luck. If you are watching this on YouTube, again, remember, I'm always live. Twitch sees it first. I'm a Twitch streamer more than I don't really call myself a YouTuber per se. So I apologize. I know some of my other videos, I try to be helpful and whatever. Some of you guys have wanted like gameplay before the builds and whatever. And I'm trying to do better in that. Like I said, I don't edit anything. It's just off the top of my head, no scripts, nothing like that. Just trying to be helpful, help people from the stream. Obviously, if it helps people on YouTube too. That's kind of, that's the point. It's a win-win. But if you're on YouTube, come check out the Twitch streams, twitch.tv/Merkadis. If you want, come kick it, hang out, check it out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to season 5, a week away, and then the expansion. That should be real juicy. But yeah, again, good luck. Hopefully it helps. And I'll see you guys again real soon.